We are preparing to live stream the meeting. Here we go. And now we are in. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for showing up and hanging out with us.
Aloha, everybody.
Hello, hello.
So this week, I'm Kimberly. This is Amber, and our friend Shannon is joining us. And we are going to continue our question and answers from the chat, and also sharing some fun stories. And hopefully we're going to see some familiar faces and add some new ones. And I'm just going to, I'm moving windows around on my screen so I can see what's happening. Okay, here we go. If there's still a learning curve, there's no way around it until I decide on a different streaming service. Are you ladies able to see
fun stories? A little bit of feedback, but I think it's good now on my end.
Yeah, just hit mute.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's see what else. Okay, there's Zoom. I know this is super lame, but it's part. Everyone just skip a minute ahead, and it'll all be fine by then. I just want to make sure I can see the chat. Okay, here we go. Now I'll be able to see the chat. There we go. Good evening, Fred Blogs. Okay. And now people are starting to come into the room. Awesome. Yay. Yeah, so if anybody was watching all that boring stuff in the beginning, hopefully you just figured out to scroll ahead.
Thank you for your patience.
Yes. It's interesting when it hops from Zoom to YouTube, but it's just the best thing that we figured out for all of us. Okay. So how is everybody doing with the eclipse energy? Any major meltdowns?
Still feeling it.
John in UK, that's awesome. So my friend John is here. Okay, so Fred Blogs, is that a I can ask you tomorrow, John, if you're in cases live, but I'm assuming that's an inside joke. But John, I'm super happy to see you here. I'm glad it worked.
Aloha, John. Thanks for being here. How are you feeling, John?
Yeah. Are the energies weird over there in the UK?
Yeah, what's the temperature over there energetically?
Oh man, I'm actually caught a cold, but at first I thought on Monday we live in downtown San Diego, and we also have a farm an hour east, and we live between both places. And when I got there, I had to lay down, and I'm like, what is happening to me? Like I've only been awake for a few hours. This doesn't make any sense. I think it was a combination of the eclipse energy and this cough that was heading my way. So joyously shared with, I'm assuming, the start of school. Like,
Yeah.
I avoid people. How do I get sick? Like, Force isn't in school anymore. So
It's the
John's,
time of year.
yeah, yes.
Very strange energy around here at the moment. Yeah, same here on Maui. Very strange energy. I'm feeling it was interesting ever since the eclipse. It feels like the energy's completely shifted and changed, and it still feels like shadowy, we're under an eclipse still. It's like I don't know if anyone else is experiencing that, but it's been kind of
Well, and I don't,
Yeah.
it's so interesting to think that that could actually be a thing. You know, how can an eclipse actually make you feel physically different, right? But the eclipse is kind of like Mercury retrograde, like things that you needed to things that didn't have closure or needed to still be worked on, right? like kind of like you toss the cards up in the air during Mercury retrograde and other periods in your life, and you start handling things, but there's a few things that you're like you weren't ready for, you haven't done the shadow work, you haven't been honest with yourself. From what I understand, those come like hardcore in your face during the eclipse, and
Yeah,
I that can really drain people.
I'm seeing.
Like for the first time in forever. Like I'm not a nightmare person, and I had a couple of nightmares. And so for that to come through and for me to remember and for it to really stick out was very unusual.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the veil is very thin right now, and so we got to be very cautiously aware of our energy at all times, and when we go to bed, and just calling our sovereign being. And but yeah, it's definitely the veil is so thin. All the dreams and everything are transferring over to other.
Yeah. This is what this the scary things, even though as it's happening and in the moment is terrifying. Um when you are awake, and now talking about it, what I've learned to do is realize that they're just distractions to keep you from your power, keep you remembering who you are, keep you from being through fear, being authentic. And I went through a period in 2022 when I was going through rapid ascension um, upgrades. And I had a few funky dreams where things were trying to come in and like scare me. And I at one point stood up and like said, no, you don't belong here. In my dream, I was so happy I did this because it turned into kind of like a lucid dream. Like I realized what was happening, and it um looking back, like wow, that good for my consciousness to realize what was going on and like wake up enough to take over. But I just turned to it and I was like, it was just an energy. I don't even know what it was. And I said, you have no power here. You don't belong here. I don't give you any permission. I'm sovereign. We're done with this. I'm tired of this. And then it shifted immediately into something else. And it was just positive. It was just like some other normal situation. So when I woke up the next morning, I was like, I remembered all of it, and I was like, oh man, that thing has been trying to get me on and off for years, just in normal scenarios where like it would move furniture or something that would it was really scary in the moment. And I totally was able to like tell it off, and knock on wood, it hasn't come back. But yeah, dreams can, they are so vivid, and so your brain doesn't know that you're dreaming when you're dreaming. You know what I mean? Like it is taking it as reality. It's when we wake up and we realize, oh, that was a dream, and we can tell ourselves that. But in the moment, like you're experiencing that.
absolutely. And I'm not a person that's prone to bad dreams or anything like that. It was very interesting. Like it was something I needed to let go of and and did like actually today. Like I told my husband about it, but it was very interesting as far as the timing went. And from an astrological standpoint, this last eclipse really tied back to 2015,
Hmm.
um, specifically like March of 2015. So one neat thing that a girlfriend of mine who's like way more advanced in astrology than I will ever hope to be, she's like, go to your phone, go to your camera, your photos, and look and see like what was going on in March of 2020 or March of 2015. And that ties to what it was. And literally like one of the people I dreamt about was right there, like within 5 days of that date.
Wow.
So I thought that was a cool thing. It's just worth doing. So pull out your phone and see what happened, and it may give you some clue to that energy.
Specifically March 2015.
March of 2015.
And that's because, okay, so
There was a sort of a foreshadowing astrological event there. Like,
Oh, okay.
you know how astrologers, everybody is always like, oh, the last time this particular thing happened, like this is what happened. So the
Yes, yes.
we were in this astrological sort of scenario, it ties back to that time period.
Okay.
Yeah,
I always wonder, and we need Shauna, we need to ask Shauna this. Amber and I have a friend that we podcast with who's an astrologer.
very cool.
Every month, the full moon, is it the full moon or the new moon? It's the full moon. The full moon is in the opposite sign. So I'm an Aquarius. So the full moon in Aquarius is always, during the month of Aquarius, is always in Leo. And I always wonder, every 6 months, does that, does like whatever was happening in Leo 6 months ago in August, does that affect what's happening in this 24-hour period around the full moon? Like, does it, are we visiting that again? Like, if I handled it and nothing was going on, then we're great. If I need to deal with it, like, does that happen every month? I wonder.
I don't know, but I mean, it makes sense that it would.
With all the planets too, right? Like when they all switch, it's like, okay, this lesson, oh, we're gonna bring this one back, and it's like, how are you gonna
Yeah.
respond or react? Or, will you need to,
Yeah.
you know,
John said, as I never remember my dreams, will I be treated internally if I did? Will it be treated internally? Huh. I don't know. I know a lot of people that never remember their dreams, and I'm not sure. I don't know why we do that. Like, you're a really conscious and enlightened person, John, so I'm not sure why you don't remember your dreams. I know that our subconscious or unconscious likes a job, and so before you go to bed, you can tell yourself, I want to remember my dreams when I wake up.
Hmm.
You could try that, and I apologize right now if they're freaky or scary.
set your intention, John, if that's what you want. If you want to remember your dreams every night before you go to bed, ask that you remember your dreams. But it could be that he just needs deep rest, and it's, whatever he does during the day requires a lot of energy. So when we're in the astral realm at nighttime, it can be exhausting, and then and then remembering that and then bringing it in to the day is a lot too. So maybe he's just being his energy body shuts down completely
Maybe,
to recharge.
yeah, John, maybe you're astral traveling so much to different timelines and you're just too busy. Okay, so you've tried several ways, huh? I wonder what Jung and Freud thought about that, or Jung specifically. He was the philosopher that really took dreams further.
Do you have
Have you
any
tried Blue
mug?
Lotus? Blue
Sorry.
Lotus helps. Sorry, I was going to tell John real quick.
Yeah.
I was going to ask him if he's tried Blue Lotus for dreams. Go ahead. Yeah.
And I was gonna say mugwort. Like mugwort's a really good one. If you make like a mugwort tea and labradorite crystal. So if you cleanse your labradorite, labradorite is really good for helping if you wanted to have like a lucid dream where you fully remember everything and you're active in your dream. But mugwort tea, which is very common in Appalachia, like if you want dreaming interaction, like that's a great thing to try. It's not delicious. Add honey.
There we go. I was taking an Indian herb for a while, and I can't think of the name of it right now. And it's for third eye awakening and clearing the pineal gland and um, intensifying dreams. And I don't know. I don't know if it was working or not because I do remember my dreams and they're typically pretty intense. So I don't know. Um, I would go with the mugwort. Shannon, did you see that your friend Logan says hello?
Yeah. Hey, Logan. Hey, Sammy. Oddly enough, I just recommended mugwort tea and you guys just joined. Sammy, there was an experience. It was a negative experience to someone that we both knew that she was very close to. And Sammy wanted to know basically what happened to this person during this experience. And I gave her a cup of mugwort tea and a giant labradorite orb, and she was able to get that experience. Sammy is an incredibly gifted individual, and her husband Logan is wonderful and also a gifted individual. So, welcome, guys.
Oh, well, pleasure to have you. Huh. That's I love synchronicity.
Yeah.
Recorded synchronicity. That's even better. Did anybody have any other funky synchronicity this week that you can remember? Nope. Okay.
Hmm.
Let's see. John says, have had mudwort, warts. Why can't I say that? Thank you. And a few other drinks. I'm not trying to pressure on myself to remember. I think now it will just come naturally. This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did dream journaling when I was younger. I recorded everything when I woke up to the best. Oh, Rion does. Okay, so John, if you do remember your dreams and you want to start to kind of keep track of them, our friend Rion does something interesting. Right when he wakes up, he hits record on his phone and he tells himself basically into his phone, this isn't for anybody else. He talks about his dream and then he just leaves that recording. And he said that he has learned that he understands his dreams a lot differently because of the fact that he spoke it out loud and then he retains them better. So you might want to try something like that. Oh, okay. So John, you had 2 phone calls this week from people that you had been thinking about. That's cool. Yeah. You're sending out a I can't think of a pulse, like a pulse of, and you're attracting their energy back. Hmm.
That happened to me a lot this week too, actually.
Yeah.
It's like you think of somebody and then they reach out or yeah.
Oh, I had a good one. I'll wait. Shannon, did you have anything interesting happen this week?
No, this week for me, I think the most interesting thing that happened was not necessarily a synchronicity, but just a weird, situation where we never like go and do stuff together as a couple. And John set up this whole lovely like time away from home. We're staycationing, and he literally thought of everything. And so today we had been talking, and all week long, I will answer a question that he did not ask out loud. Like, I mean, I'm talking all week long. We were down having a little bite, like a early lunch, and I said, "Oh, they have this. We should get this." And he had just in his mind said, "Oh, maybe we should get this." So all week long, whatever he thinks, I respond to verbally. And that's just, we do that a lot anyway, but like this week it has been very intense, like way more than usual.
Yeah, these energies, the eclipse energies, the new moon, the fall equinox, it's very potent times of Ailsin. It's like all that telepathy, I think, is
Yeah.
starting to bleed
Keep
through
keep sharing
more.
that.
And
Keep sharing that.
this year, I felt like our last couple days, just the energy, like I said, since the eclipse has been very interesting, very
It
different.
has been. And, with us, we do a lot of the telepathy stuff anyway, because you know your partner, you talk to your people, but it's just been even with strangers. I'm like, oh, what about this? And I'm not sure like why that cropped up so strong, like why it's a thing right now, but it's been way more intense than usual.
Yeah. Like you think of a question in your head and then they answer it without you even asking the question. Yeah, I love it when that happens. We are all one mind, guys. That's what it really is.
Yeah. Yeah, John, try that thing with the phone. Um, yeah, so if you don't have a phone recorder and anything would work. Anything to record you. It probably isn't even necessary for it to be visual because that's not what he was doing. He was sharing the story and because most people have phones, it was just easy to pick it up and do record it. But if you were just going to record it on I mean, anywhere, like you could figure it out. You're smart, you're a smart man. But I was like, we don't really have tape recorders anymore, but something like that, and then you could give it a week and then go back and listen. It might start to tell a story, and you'll pick up symbolism and it'll probably um, unlock something in your consciousness, and you'll start to remember your dreams more. So that'd be kind of cool.
If you have access to a landline, you could also call your cell
Yeah.
phone and leave yourself a voice message.
I thought about that too, but I was like, I
Yeah.
was trying to work around. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
If it's
pen and
convenient.
paper is the easiest probably, but to hear it, I think that's really cool. I'm going to try that.
Something different happens. Yeah, he just gets up every morning and immediately tells himself his dream, and he just keeps those files. Okay. Annie says, "Hi, Shannon."
Annie, hello. Hey, Sean. Hey, Annie.
And I think you and John are on the same wavelength with the calling the landline. Okay, so I had a cool synchronicity this week, but it was one of those. I love these are my favorite when it's like the long play. So you do something, and then a few days later is when you get the result, in a sense. Okay, that's the I get a lot of instant synchronicities, but most of mine I realize took quite a few things to happen in order for it to happen. I like those. So our mutual friend Shauna, her mother's name is Sheila, and Sheila does the UFO tours in Sedona. Um, best UFO tours in Sedona. The name of her company, and also literally the best. It's absolutely incredible. If anyone watching is planning on going into Sedona, look up best UFO tours of Sedona, because you are going to see proof, and it is so fun. And she is just full of really interesting information. She's so nice, funny, has great stories. I love Sheila. Okay, so I one of the people that I listen to the most on YouTube is her. She's a content creator, obviously. Her name is Dr. Gail. It's Dr. Gail McLeod. Her page is her account is Dr. Gail Skywalking with Moon. Moon was her dog. Okay, so I won't take up time to explain her backstory, but I highly recommend everyone look up Dr. Gail Skywalking with Moon, especially if you like content like this. She goes live once or twice a week, and she has a revolving list of the same guests that she co-lives with, and they do a bunch of different cool ones. One's more focused on healing, one's question and answer, one is questions about aliens, things like that. It's really fun, and everyone that she interacts with is great too. So Dr. Gail, oh, and little side note, I had the um I had the wonderful opportunity to meet her because my son and I like to go to Mount Shasta a lot. Before I headed up there, I found her. That's how I found her, because she was on a road trip moving to Mount Shasta. So later, when my son Forrest and I were heading up there, I reached out and said, I understand you're there. Would you be interested in it would be really nice to meet you. Would you like to have coffee? And she took me up on it. And so I got to meet her. This woman is completely authentic, as real as you could be, completely normal. Her stories are fascinating, and she is just as normal as anybody else in your family. So if you go over there and you start hearing some of her answers and her stories, they are going to seem like they're out there. Just know that she's all there. She's awesome and wonderful. Okay, so she wrote a book, and I was very interested in picking it up. Right, so I did. I ordered it on Amazon. I received it, and a few days ago, I thought, oh, you know what? Shauna and Rion and her mom would probably really enjoy this book. And so I texted them and said, and I had asked Shauna, does your mom read? And she said, yeah. And so I just sent it because I want to support Dr. Gale. And I also found this really interesting. And all three of them, um, interact socially in different ways with a lot of people. So if they read the book, it's also great information to share with other people, especially Sheila, who is giving UFO tours and talking about um, galactic happenings. So I sent the book to Shauna. A few days later, I get this text message from Sheila, and which is her mom, and she says, "Thank you so much. I just caught up with Shauna, and she gave me this book. It was such a pleasant surprise, and also, wow, you're not going to believe this." Although you, because I did a session with her and told her a bunch of stuff, and so she knows that I'm clairvoyant. And so she said, "You're not going to believe how accurate this is. I went to church on Sunday and our pastor went around, clearly this is a spiritualist church, went around and gave everyone these mini readings. And when she got to Sheila, she said, you were going to receive 8 gifts this week, and you are going to learn how to fly a spaceship, and you're actually going to get into a spaceship and fly a spaceship." And so Sheila jokingly said, is it going to come with instructions? So the next day she sees Shauna and receives my gift, and it's called How to Fly a Spaceship.
Wow.
Isn't that funny?
Cool.
I know that was a big lead in, but like you can't make that up. Like you can't plan that. You can't, you know what I mean? Like how would I know her pastor was going to say that and that was clear in her mind and then I say that. That was just it was cool. That was a cool. I love those are good synchronicities. Like with a good story attached and a lot had to happen to get there, you know? So I said take the book with you. She's going on a cruise to like a conference on a cruise to Greece. I'm like, well, now you have an interesting book, but highly recommend. I'm enjoying this book so much. It's a super easy read. It's fascinating. It's funny. Like, definitely get this book. How I Learned to Fly a Spaceship by Gail McLeod. McLeod. Okay. Um, someone else talk. What did that make y'all think of?
Just galactic happenings. I'm telling you, like, that's another thing. And I don't know, Amber, Kim, if you guys have had it, but there's been a lot of weird galactic stuff. So I was having a conversation with another psychic friend yesterday, and I was joking. I'm like, I have this dog, and he's not even a real dog. He's like an alien. His name's Baby. And I think, Kim, I told you, like, my dog sees dead people. He's just
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, he's very different. I have 7 dogs, and Baby's just, he's different. He was my mother's dog. She passed away earlier this year. And my friend goes, that's because your dog's not a dog. And I'm like, he's an alien, right? And she goes, no, he's actually a deer mixed with, and she didn't know the word for tortoise. She goes, a land turtle and a water turtle. I was like, oh, a tortoise, a turtle, and a deer. Like, that's interesting. And this was yesterday. We have this whole conversation. She goes, yeah, that's why he doesn't act like a dog. He's like very sensitive. And I said, that's weird because we have tortoises and we have
Yeah.
a few turtles. And she goes, he would really like to spend time with the tortoises and talk to them.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay. And so I told my husband, I'm like, Baby needs to talk to the tortoises. And, he never bats an eyelash at any of the crazy stuff that comes out of my mouth. He's like, okay, we can do that. Like, okay, when we go back, we're going to do that.
Mm.
But yeah, he has a lot of that, like, I don't know how to explain it. He has a lot of alien energy. And I kept thinking, I wonder if there's some sort of alien thing that comes across as this like weird mix of animals. But the galactic piece, and especially anybody who has, which, Kim and I talked about the very first time we ever had a conversation, we talked about Pleiadians
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a bleeding heart Pleiadian person. And like, there's a lot going on with the Pleiadians and also anybody from parts of Orion right now. And it's all, based on where the stars are in the sky. And we just finished the equinox and all that. So if anybody has any Sirius B, if anybody has certain different things, like right now, you're probably getting a lot of extra weird stuff. And I think it's just fascinating because we all are familiar with the concept of the veil and when the veil is thin and when the veil is not thin. But I think more, and probably over like the last 3 years, whenever the veil is thin, normally I'm thinking like, I mean, just very basically, I'm thinking like fairies, other realms, and dead people. Until the last 3 years, I wasn't thinking
Mhm.
galactic stuff.
Yeah, hybrids and things. Well, we're in the 3D, and the the fae and other things that are considered folklore and fairy tale and Sasquatch and everything like that comes from somewhere. I'm sorry. Like there's no way that our ancestors made all this stuff up and it traveled this far with us and didn't change because we're humans. We screw If you tell somebody something by the third or fourth person they talk to, the story is going to be completely different. But that the way certain fae look, the personality traits, the abilities, the existence, that doesn't change. And so I think that says a lot about how we are very aware of all that stuff, but fear and um, guilt and shame and hardcore religion. There's a lot of things that tell us not to believe beyond our five senses because then things start to get scary. But no, that's when you start to remember who you are. That's when you step into your power. That's when you learn what it feels like to have true authenticity and confidence and all. So you got a comment, Shannon. Leave it to mom to get a not dog.
Yeah, that's my sister Kendra. And
Hi,
what's
Amy.
funny is she came from a place called Saint Hedwig, which
Mm,
is, very Harry Potter-esque. That's where baby came from. My friend Rebecca and I went and got her from Saint Hedwig, Texas for my mom. And then I got her back, unfortunately, when our mother went on to the next round.
yeah.
And whenever my mom's around, you can really tell because he'll cry like he misses her. And then other people, he'll just be curious or, but like when she's around, he, wishes she was 3D too.
And wags his tail and everything.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Just
that's
it's a sad, like it's a longing. But yeah, he's totally not a dog.
Hi, Amir. Hi, Sage. So, Amir has a really cool job. She transports animals from, I think everywhere, right? Like if somebody wants a special breed of dog, or there's a lot of rescue situations, and she'll get on a plane with them. She'll travel all over the United States, probably out of the United States. I don't remember that. But so Amir, if have you, I don't know if you can put it in the chat, but have you had any unusual experiences with any of your animals where you could tell that they were seeing something you couldn't, or helped you find something that doesn't seem like an animal can help you find? Yeah. Hi, Jason. And sorry, do you want to read that one, Amber? Or you want me to?
Go ahead.
Mm. Amber's almost better half says, yes, our ancestors communicate through the numbers as well. Yes, this is true. Everyone knows the synchronicity with numbers 555, 222, 1111s. And I believe it's more readily understood now that you're not just it's not you seeing 1111 twice a day. It's what made you look over at the clock. So synchronicity is something that leads you to your multi-dimensional abilities. So acknowledging that, I see 1111 every day is the first step, but then consciously saying, huh, what made me look over at the clock right now? Why have I been seeing 555 all week? Well, that means great change. If you can look that up too. My quail are talking. Hopefully you don't hear the weird sounds in the background. Okay. Oh, we have a lot of people in here. Okay, so Ale says, "Hi, beautiful ladies. So happy to see you. Update: I told my parents about moving out, and they took it so well. I was shocked. Thanks for the extra boost of confidence. We talked about that last week. That is awesome, and
Yay,
good for
so
you.
proud of you.
Yeah, good for you. That's huge. Like moving is huge. But moving means we can recreate ourselves, and we can shake every single thing that we have as a foundation up. We can improve, change our relationships, improve our relationships. So congratulations. That's awesome. Jason added the number 154. Is he talking shit, Amber? What's he doing?
No, that's my dad's number.
Mm.
Yeah, I see it all day, every day, all over
Oh,
the place. Yeah,
that's cool.
that was
Our,
his racing number.
oh,
And then
okay.
I see his birthday 321 all the time too.
Huh. Our friend Case sees his kids' birthdays almost every single day. Yeah, it's where we place our attention. Oh, Jason saying hi, Sage. Yeah,
What kind of racing did your dad do, Amber?
What's that?
What kind of racing did he do?
It was boat racing, flat bottom boat, like quarter mile racing. Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah, it's very traumatic as an
It
11 year
is
old.
dramatic.
But yeah, it was, yeah, part of our story, and it hit that number does show up a lot.
did he have a logo or an insignia or something with a bird that had a long tail?
Possibly a tattoo, I think.
Okay, because that came up as soon as you said, as soon as you started talking, my brain was like, like a brain.
He was infatuated with birds, and he had parrots. We had a huge macaw when I was a kid, and then we had a green parrot for
Okay,
years. Like it was like one of our little
yeah. Well,
brothers. He
he
was
must have come right in to say hi. That was
So
cool.
yeah, he was definitely connected to the birds.
Aw. With long, and then what you described, parrots and macaws have long tails. This was more like a songbird, but it doesn't matter. That's cool. That's
No,
cool.
I think he did have a tattoo that was similar to what you're thinking of.
Like it had a long flat tail that kind of went to 2 points at the bottom, kind of like a Disney cartoon bird. If anyone has questions in the chat that you want to go out on a limb and ask, like for an intuitive, conscious, enlightened answer, all of us have the gift, and we would all happily answer to the best of our abilities. Shannon, I asked you if you wanted to share any interesting stories. You have
Hmm.
so many of them. Is there anything that you feel like bringing forward?
Well, it was funny because I was like, what do I want to talk about? What do I want to talk about? And one of the things that we all struggle with, and like I am the worst, is like trusting yourself. Like when you know something and you're, especially like when you're being told to do something from not this realm, it's hard to trust yourself. So maybe 3 years ago, we were up in Boise, Idaho for work, and I was going to Dutch Bros Coffee because I work with a lady. Her name's Caitlin, and she loves Dutch Bros. And so I'm like texting Caitlin. I'm like, I'll come to the event, but I'll swing by first and get us some coffee. Like, what do you want? What does this other lady that we work with want? And so John and I go to Dutch Bros because he'll travel with me a lot. Like, he doesn't go do weird work stuff, he does fun stuff. But he went with me to the coffee shop, and I'm, dressed up business. And I've got my heels on and my bag, and we ordered. And the way that it was inside this Dutch Bros is like there was a couch and a couch because it was in downtown. So there's like a little seating area, but it was more like cafe style. So we sat on this couch, and this woman comes in and she sits down across, and she complimented my dress. And she goes, I have this weird need to tell you that sometimes I see things before they happen. And I said, oh, that's cool. I said, I talk to dead people a lot. And she was like, really? And she goes, how much do you charge? Do you do readings? And I'm like, no, I don't do anything, like professionally. And I said, it's not anything that I can super control. It either happens or it doesn't. And so then she crossed over and sat next to me on our little couch. And she took my hand and she's like, will you read me? And I said, well, I don't know if I can or not. It just, like, for me, it's very weird. It just happens or it doesn't.
And a whole
Like,
graveyard pops up behind her. No.
well, and this lady comes up and I'm like, there's a woman here and she's an older woman and I believe she's your grandmother. And I said, she keeps showing me like a place that looks like Appalachia and she keeps showing me Native Americans. And I said, does that make sense? And this woman goes, yeah, my dad is actually, he was a signatory to the Nez Perce Treaty in Oklahoma. And my mom is from the Ozark Mountains. And I'm like, well, that makes sense because that looks like Appalachia where I'm from. And that's what it looked like.
Mhm.
And so the grandmother goes on to tell me, I said, you have an older sister that is estranged from this grandmother. The grandmother didn't get to know your older sister. And she said, yes. The grandmother didn't want the mom to marry. And so when she married, they moved to Europe for a while. So the grandmother never met the oldest daughter because she was born and was like a teenager when they came back to the United States. This girl was younger in the family, so she knew the grandmother. And I said, this is so weird. And she goes, this is amazing. And I said, but your family all reconciled? And she said, yes. And she goes, if you can tell me what my grandmother did for a living, I'll believe everything you've said because like there's so much here. And I said, I have no idea what your grandmother did for a living. And I said, she keeps showing me two rocks. They look like petrified wood. It's just like two rocks. They're like this big. And she goes, she was an interior decorator. And that's a set of bookends that she left me. And she goes, when I say the bed, what do you see? And I said, that's weird. I see this very ornate, carved red and gold bed. And she goes, yes, it's from New Orleans. And she left me that too. And
Wow.
she said, do you see anything else around her? And I just clutched my chest and I said, oh my God, I didn't know you lost a child. And she said, yes. And I said, your child is with your grandmother. And she had had a daughter that passed passed in utero before she was born. And so I had this conversation with this woman, still gives me goosebumps, that I had never met from Adam. And she looked at me and she goes, well, I've got to catch a bus. And I said, well, I have to go to work. And I said, it was nice to meet you. And she said, my name is Angela, and it means messenger from God. And then she left. So that was a big, that was a big one. And it was a trust yourself and say the weird thing in your head, whether it makes any sense to you or not. And that is very hard to do, like very hard to do.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But once you do it and you're right, it's a lot easier to do it the next time.
Yeah.
That was such a cool story. Thank you.
Yep. She was very cool. I needed to meet Angela when I did.
Well, that was for both of you because, like you said, you've never met her before.
Yeah.
It wasn't planned, it wasn't set up. I mean, I've never even, like, when people book me, even if they find me on Instagram or through a friend or whatever, it doesn't even occur to me to look at their profile.
Yeah.
Because I don't want any information. I want it to come in, and then we always end up friends anyway. I'll get to know you, but um there is a chance if you book somebody, and I hope there's not a bunch of crappy psychics out there that do this, but I'm sure there are. um it's so easy to find out information about us, but there was no chance for that in your meeting, and that's
Mm-mm.
really cool. Yeah. Yeah, that, did you just want to quit your job and be like, all right, this is what we're doing from now on?
No, I was like, and now I'm going to go do my day job where I think about how to get people to brush their teeth and get some fluoride. I'm
Yeah.
like, this would be way more fun. But yeah, and then Sean and Annie, who were on, I was talking to Sean one day. We worked together and we were talking about something, and John and I were going to walk around a car show, and I was like, Sean, there's this woman around you. I'm like, is this a dead person you know? And there's like this woman, and I'm describing it. He's like, no. And I'm like, that's so weird because usually it only comes up when, I'm talking to someone near someone, whatever. Like this woman is just going on. She's telling me this stuff. So we hang up and I'm walking around this car show. And then I walk up to this car and, it's John and I, and this guy's got his car out displaying it. And I'm like, was your mother, did she have this initial? Did she have like long, dark, curly hair? And he was like, yes. And I'm like, and she passed away and you couldn't, and he's like, yeah, it was that woman. Like, so it wasn't Sean, but it was this man at a car show. And I remember texting him after. I'm like, okay, I found the owner of this woman. But like I can't just see,
Yeah.
like Sammy who's on here, Sammy, if she lets down her defenses, she can literally see anyone, stuff that happened 20 years ago in a room. But for me, they sort of have to come in and knock and we have to play charades basically.
That's funny. Yeah. It's also that's really powerful. It's also when you know something, it's hard to decipher if you're supposed to share it. Like, why would I be told that if I'm not supposed to tell the person
Yeah.
next to me? I've had that happen. Sometimes I'll get the none of your business, none of your business, move on, and I won't say anything. Um, I can share a story. Actually, I told you about it in our last chat. Amber, do you want to share anything? We have a question I can bring up, but do you have
Oh,
do
you
you
can go ahead and answer the question.
you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay. Sage asks, how can you and everyone listening? Okay. How can you connect best with magical archetypes like the mage, the magician, the wizard, the witch, the alchemist, the sorceress, etc.?
My
Who
answer would be to call Sage. She's the expert.
That's true, huh? So,
I
um,
totally stole a thing from Sage, but used it for business. So Sage did this thing once, and I can't even remember what it was, but she took like a clip of music and a picture. And so she had like a witch and she had some music and she had like a fairy and she had some music, she had a mermaid, she had some music. And it was such a powerful thing to take people out of their normal thought process and, get them thinking about these other things that I completely used it in a brainstorming session. And
mm,
it was awesome because I have been telling people, we think so linear. Like we've got to get creative. We have to have we need to bring whimsy into what we do from a business standpoint. And I completely stole one of Sage's things that she had done where she's like helping you get into this mindset. And it's the greatest thing ever. It's like the best thing I've ever used to get people to turn off the day-to-day logic brain.
monkey mind. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Sage. If for
So
everyone
thank
else
you,
that's
Sage.
everyone else that's in here, if you want a reading that will change your life, your existence, put you on a new path, answer things that you've always wondered, um, Soul Harmony Magic is Sage's page. You can find her as Magic with Sage on Instagram, TikTok, and or you can ask me. I'll get you in touch with her and book a reading. But yeah, follow Sage, follow Magic with Sage because all of her content is spectacular and funny and extremely thought provoking. Um,
Yes, we love you, Sage. So grateful for you.
yes, 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 yes. Oh, we um Sammy had responded earlier and she said, I'm here and it definitely gets overwhelming when it comes to
It is like she gets a lot of intense stuff. So Sammy is one of the most skilled people I've ever met at like blocking other energies that she's not wanting to deal with at that time.
People need to learn that just in regular life.
Boundaries,
None of
spiritual
your,
boundaries.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
none of your business, eyes on your own paper. So I can't even imagine having to do it in both worlds, Tammy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's kind of like how I am too. I'm constantly just shielding from all the energies and no, thank you. You know.
Yeah. Yes. Sage said that I need to host that class again. It was so fun. Yes, all of
It
Sage's
was
classes.
so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Shannon, that made me happy to hear sharing is caring.
It is.
Oh,
I gave you credit in the thing. Everybody was like, why are you insane all of a sudden? I'm like, we have to try to be more creative.
mhm. So to answer your question, Sage, I would say first of all, anyone that has is asked, how do you connect with magical archetypes? You have to get out of your own mind, out of your own head. You have to get out of your own way. You have to channel your inner child. Go back to when you could walk out into a playground and just find a stranger kid to play with and get right into that creative scenario where you're playing house or you're on an adventure somewhere. Then out of that list that you gave us, like mage, magician, wizard, witch, alchemist, or sorceress, one of those is going to resonate stronger than the other. And there's going to be a reason that you connect to that. And so you could just place your emphasis on it. Don't think too hard. Don't try to make it unnaturally fit, but realize I connect with sorceress because I do sorceress type things. I connect with an alchemist because I spend a lot of time creating things and measuring things and um, whether it's coffee or whatever. So I would say that you connect to archetypes because archetypes are mirrors of us.
Mhm.
We're not as complicated as we try to make ourselves. Like humans have evolved but barely since cavemen, and our reactions and responses and shifts and changes to the modern world on a regular basis, there's nothing new. It's just the newest version of something very old. And so there's always been that list.
And Sage just mentioned she just left the bookstore where she went to go read children's books for that reason. Last night, John and I went to this library, and it's weird, but it's like it was part of our little getaway. So you go in this library and they give you drink tokens, and you can get like two drinks there, alcoholic drinks, non-alcoholic drinks. And so I went and picked up this book of fairy tales. And I actually sat last night and read three fairy tales. And one of them was, I opened it up. And of course, it was like a fairy tale. There was like the real princess and the plain princess and something else. So I read the real princess, and it's the story that I grew up with, The Princess and the Pea,
Mhm.
where the prince is looking for a princess. He can't find one. This like wet, terrible looking woman shows up and she's like, I'm a princess. So the queen puts a pea on her bed and puts 20 mattresses and 20 feather beds on top of it. And the next morning, the queen says, well, how did you sleep? And she goes, oh, it was miserable. And the woman's like all bruised and blue because, a real princess is so delicate, like she's beaten up. And it was really, at the time it was written, it was satire making fun of how like delicate and special royalty was supposed to be. But kids thought it was cute because you just imagine this woman being so disrupted by a pea. So I read that last night, and it was great because my dad used to always make fun of me because I complain about beds all the time. I'd be like, this bed is too hard, this bed is too whatever. And so he would always call me the princess and the pea because I complained nonstop. We had a cabin. The cabin had like six different, like a bed, a couch bed, or whatever. And I would just go bed to bed to bed. And so I was like, oh, dad's here. But yeah, fairy
Yeah.
tales are great.
Well,
And
Sage
also cartoons.
said she said we're in sync, so she must have picked that book up. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Cartoons are a good one too. Like I lately, my sister who's on here, my sister and I have been, we've reverted to our childhood again. So the other day I texted my sister and I'm like, I went on eBay and I bought my favorite toy as like a 4-year-old. And I did. I found there were these little mermaids. I will date myself. This is like 1980, 1981. I bought these little tiny mermaid dolls called Seawees. And my favorite one was this one named Coral. And because she had on blue and it's my favorite color. So like I went on eBay and I found this little seaweed doll and I bought it and I put it in my bathroom. Because, lately I'm like, do what brings you joy. And so she's been cleaning out her mother's things and she's found a lot of old toys and different things like that. So it's been interesting. And
Huh.
that's a good thing too.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
The
We,
imagination is key.
It is.
well, that's one of your purposes to be here, Amber, isn't it? To work with children, with kids, and connect.
All the children of Mother Gaia, whatever age they are.
You're here for it. That's funny. Oh, okay. Something popped into my mind at the beginning of your story. It's unrelated, but I don't want to forget to tell you. Someone might know this. There is an app, and I can't think of what it's called. It's not complicated, but it with the use of 3 words, it gives you a destination. Have you heard of that? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? It's like 3 unrelated words, and when you type them into the app, it gives you a coordinate. And so now I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you that specifically or if I'm supposed to tell you to look things up um, by coordinates in your town, like geocaching. I know that you're doing a staycation, but you're looking for things that you don't normally do. So maybe there's something with coordinates is coming up for you, for maybe for you two to go find something fun and unexpected. And
Oh, that's
I'll
interesting. So earlier, I was talking to two different friends of mine, and I was telling them that I had done just like the basic, like, go on Google and put in free. I
Mhm.
did like the free astrocartography for John and I of like it tells you where you're supposed to live and where you may want to be. So it's hilarious that you brought up coordinates because his was actually close to where we actually live. And he was born in Boston and raised
Yeah,
in state New York. And, we live in Texas.
right.
And mine was just west of Boise, Idaho. And everybody knows, like, that knows me, of all the places that I travel for work, I love Idaho. It's so beautiful, it's so pretty. And so it's funny that you bring up coordinates because I've had that conversation with two of my friends today.
I just got goosebumps. I
Yeah.
could feel, I was like, why are you telling her this totally unrelated thing about an app that you don't even know the name of it? But the word coordinates kept coming up.
Yeah, I'm
Huh,
gonna
that's
Google that
interesting.
and find the app. I've never heard of it, but that's really cool.
It might be called 3 words. It literally might be called 3 words. And the only reason I know about it is I've seen it in 2 different shows, like watching a series, it'll come up. And recently I saw it in 2 different shows. Okay. Um, Logan says, I always buy the things that brought me joy as a kid. Yes. And keep
Yes.
doing it. Yes. Hi Shauna. And
Uh,
Jason said hi to Shauna too. What were we gonna ask Shauna? Oh, it doesn't
Ooh,
matter. Never mind.
monthly astrology around like the full moon.
Yeah, Shauna, just come on next week because we have questions. We'll have you answer them live. Yeah, my question is every month when we get the full moon in the opposite sign, does that bring things up from 6 months ago or foreshadowing for 6 months from now? But we can go into that. Does anyone have a question like that would require clairvoyance? Um, I mean, I can keep saying weird shit to you all and it'll work, but like if any if
but yes,
anybody
the theme, stay in your childlike energy, get in the childlike energy. Thank you, Sage, for bringing that up because that's the most important right now.
our
Bring
resident
that joy
fairy.
in, remember what you loved doing as a child and go back to that. Yeah. A little. I love the bookstore when we were in school. All the little
Oh,
books,
yeah.
the glitter, the stickers, and all
Mhm.
that fun stuff.
100%. Yeah, that was always my favorite. Well, I don't know what they do now, but when they would have the book fair,
Yeah. The Scholastic Book Fair.
Yeah,
That was the
that
best.
was it. Right?
yeah.
That was the most exciting thing in school.
Hmm.
Waiting for that thing to show up.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Well, and it's gone. Um, I was I was just thinking about your dogs again. The dogs are our companions, and cats read energy in the room, and then other animals hold different types of purpose and symbolism and things in our life. But um, where am I going with this? Maybe your mom's dog having that sense. That was more cat-like. And Sage just had an experience with a cat showing up right when some big things happened emotionally in her family, and a cat showed up right at that exact time and has been sticking around. And I was telling her earlier today that cats adjust the energy and read the energy and do a lot of sacred geometry around you. And I think your dog does that. My brain keeps going back to that. So, okay.
We have a familial Chihuahua thing too. Like our mom's grandmother, so mine and my sister's great grandmother, she was like a little itty bitty Scottish woman in Appalachia. And Chihuahuas weren't even really that much of a thing. And I will tell you, there's not a lot of Hispanic culture in Harlan County, Kentucky in the early 1900s. But she had a daughter she named Juanita. She had Chihuahuas and she bought Chihuahuas for everyone. And so my mother had Chihuahuas when she was a girl. And then I got a Chihuahua through happenstance. And then I bought my mother another Chihuahua. My sister has a half Chihuahua, half wiener dog. My aunts and uncles, my mom was one of 13. A lot of them have had Chihuahuas or other things. So we have this like whole weird family Chihuahua thing. And it's more of like it's like on our mom's side of the family. Now, it's interesting because, they say that a lot of pets, no matter what it is, like you can have a companion that follows you, follows your line, comes back to you in different forms. And my first Chihuahua, her name was Miss Bell. Like everybody on this call that knows me knows Miss Bell. And she went everywhere with me. She went to work with me. She went to the office all the time. And she absolutely was just like, she was my little tiny soulmate in dog form. And I really, for years, I thought, God, when something happens to this dog, like, what is going to happen to me?
Yeah.
And, she was like, we were that bonded. Well, cats are so interesting too, because cats can read the energy and cats can do like spiritual war with dark stuff. I mean, I don't know that dogs do that, but like for sure cats do. And so it's very interesting because we also always had cats. And my sister is like the cat person. She has like a lot of cats. She has dogs, but she has a lot of cats too. And yeah, Miss Bell was at Sammy Joe and Logan's wedding. Like she's everywhere. And she passed away a few years ago. And the way it happened was really weird because if you know like Mexican lore about Chihuahuas, they take your illness away. Like Chihuahuas take your illness away, specifically asthma, respiratory issues, that sort of thing. So in, I guess it was 2022, I had a mammogram come back bad and I had like two spots and I had to go back in for a second mammogram. And then they're like, yeah, it's still not right. So they brought in an ultrasound person. And it just kind of went on like for a while. And, of course, I'm like scared, nervous.
Yeah.
And then finally they're like, these things are there, but they're totally fine. They're benign. We're not even going to do a biopsy. Like, you're good. And I'd had my thyroid removed for thyroid, a follicular carcinoma. So, you know, I was kind of maybe extra paranoid, worried that
Yeah.
there would be something there. John and I went to have lunch to celebrate my clean bill of health, and my chihuahua died while we were at lunch. And so I called my mother, and my mother goes, "She took your breast tissue," like just immediately, like that was her thing. So the whole animal thing is just, it's fascinating. And people who are really into all different sorts of animals, you'll see like if something big's going on, a new animal will show up, you know, something will happen in parallel with the animals in your life. And I think that's like, you know, wild. And my sister's like, I can call her a crazy cat. Like, she's a crazy cat lady. She's just so many cats. And like the neighborhood is filled with feral cats. It's just like stacks of cats on cats. There's a little man across the street from her, Mr. Carl. Mr. Carl leaves his door open so the cats can come in. So, you know,
Oh,
word's gotten out about the
yeah.
neighborhood.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a safe place to be. Oh, wow. That was a beautiful, eloquent, and also powerful story. I'm glad you're okay, and I'm like, what
I
a
mean,
weird
it's
trade-off.
amazing. And, you know, there's so many people I know that have had very similar situations of, you know, something's going on in their life. We work with a lady who's a doctor, and she had a cat come into her life when she was going through chemo. And so the cat would lay on her while she was going through chemo, and it would always stay with her. And it was definitely just, you know, it showed up when she needed it. And for those of you guys who it's Dr. Altenhoff, she is totally open about it, but it was her cat showed up in that way.
Oh. Okay, I'm in San Diego. Every 10 feet there's a Chihuahua, and I've never heard that folklore.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna not folklore. I'm not
Yeah. Well, I
diminishing
know
it.
what you mean.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask a lot of our staff. They yeah, they're Chihuahuas and their families. I'm gonna ask them. Oh, that's fascinating. Wow.
I think all dogs, actually, animals, are healers, and they are here to, and they process our emotions. You know, it's all
Mhm.
energy, right? So they take on a lot of our energy, you know, and then take those diseases on too. I see all the time. Like,
Yeah.
and so yeah, if you want to heal your dog, guess what? Heal yourself, and your dog will
Mhm.
heal naturally, just like your kids. And
Mhm.
yeah, but yeah, it's a thing for sure. It's, you know, they, and you know, we don't have the knowledge and understanding of how to heal ourselves, so they take over for us and play that role for us as until we, you know, get there, I think, sometimes. So yeah,
There
no.
there's scientific proof that when disabled children are around dolphins, their brain waves go more. I don't know how to say this correctly. Like their brain waves shift and change and improve. So they'll have kids probably with autism and other neurological issues in the water with dolphins, and they have the note. What are they called? No, what's the term? The stickers.
Yeah.
Hmm. The electrodes.
Electrodes. Thank you. Not that hard. They'd have electrodes on their heads, and they would test it, and their brain waves would function better when they were just in the presence of dolphins. I don't know if anyone else has heard that. I
Yeah.
was trying to calling around trying to see if that program is here somewhere. Like I would love to have witnessed something like that. My son on the autism spectrum. Okay. Let's see. Sage. Oh yeah. Sage is on a walk and she just passed a giant frog and a crawfish while we were talking about different animals. Where are, where are you, Sage?
I was gonna say
Louisiana.
that's a couple cool things to pass.
Yeah, you're on a good walk, a good nature walk.
Are you walking around like a creek or a lake?
Like a pond probably near her house. Um, okay. So we have a lot of hellos in here from different friends and family. Some very nice things were said about Mrs. Bell that she's missed, and she was at Sammy's wedding. And also Sean, oh Sean, Annie is writing for Sean. Animals of all kinds are attracted to me. What does that mean?
You're a balanced human. Sean is a balanced human.
Yeah, they know. The animals know. If you attract animals, then usually you're an awesome angel. Usually,
Yeah.
they know.
He's very balanced and he's very trustworthy. Like Miss Bell loves Sean. And Sean used to say that she could also ferret out people that didn't want to work as hard as others. She would go, there were a couple of people, and she would just go to the door of their office and bark like crazy, like bark insanely. And we'd have to pull her little tiny, 3-pound self back. But yeah,
That's funny.
she loved Sean, and she would make an immediate judgment. She either liked you or she didn't. And she was exceptionally friendly for a Chihuahua, especially with kids. Like she knew when anybody was expecting, she would sleep on their bellies, and then she knew their babies after they were born.
Oh,
Yeah, she was really cool.
yeah.
But Sean is very balanced and he has a good energy.
And
And Annie keeps him all crystalled up too. So if anything is wrong, she's fixing it.
I would I would also say that a lot of people, obviously not I probably no one in here, but there are a ton of humans that have a fear of animals, and it could be from trauma when they were younger. But there are some people that don't even acknowledge animals. Have you ever witnessed somebody like if I see an animal of any kind, I'm immediately distracted. Like I'm like smiling and want to interact with the animal, or I'm thinking about the whatever it is. Like if there's an animal in my presence, you it gets my complete attention. But then there are people that either barely acknowledge their existence or have a lot of fear. And also, give I think the people that have fear or people that lack self confidence and also trust in themselves don't trust animals, because in order to connect with an animal, now we understand that animals emote a lot of emotions, but if you're not an animal person you may not realize that, right? So now you have to extend something out of yourself in order to communicate with an animal that doesn't necessarily have facial expressions until you understand that they do. You can't talk to them, whatever. And so I think people that aren't comfortable with themselves aren't comfortable with animals. So obviously the complete opposite is for Sean, that Sean, you must be someone who's very authentic. Sage has a giant lake around her apartment complex, and that's where
Oh,
she's.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm sure a Sasquatch is next. Maybe a fairy. Yeah, a gnome might pop out of a tree. Um, Me, myself, and I. Hey, hi, how are you, my friend? Thank you for showing up and hanging out with us. If you have any questions about anything, we are here to answer. We have about 15 or 20 minutes left. Um, and oh, sorry, no, I wasn't going anywhere with that. Do either of you have anything else that you wanted to bring up?
I was just gonna say, is it Allie in the comment? Is that who it is?
Yes.
She says my family only had big dogs, but Chihuahuas found me in 2022, and she says the coolest sidekick she's ever met. Which is funny. I grew up with big dogs too, German Shepherds, and then a Chihuahua found me, a miniature little Chihuahua, years ago, and I ended up having two of them after that. But yeah, that was a special relationship. Those little guys.
Oh. Yeah, as long as they don't bark like crazy. I like all animals and all dogs, but typically the ones that don't bark as much are it just depends on where you live. Like if you have a place where that doesn't matter, it's not as inter you know. But if you're like in a like I have I'm in a I live in a loft in a building with 20 other lofts, and yeah, I couldn't have animals that bark here. Although I have birds, and I often wonder what people are thinking. They're like, how do we have that many pigeons and doves outside our window? Like how, because
Like, how do we get extra?
I'm
You're
always
the bird lady,
yapping.
not the cat lady.
Yeah, totally. I have a cat. She lives in my at my farm, and I always joke that that's her trailer, not mine. And whenever every week when we go out, she comes up in the middle of the night and always comes walks on me and does her, Reiki is what I'm at this point. I'm assuming like
Yeah.
major activation and transmission is happening where I'm like, okay, okay. I had a really trippy one once where she wasn't, because you know how cats will put their nails into you when they do that. She wasn't doing that, but in the middle of the night I woke up, and where she was touching me, it was like it felt like so intense that almost like when someone tickles you and you can't stand it. And I'm laying there trying to process it, and I'm thinking she's just laying there. Like, why is my body so overly sensitive to what she's doing? And I kept like falling asleep and waking up and feeling it again. And in the morning, I was like, man, she must have been helping me with something really like big, because I was feeling it, like a whole energy exchange and experience was happening. There's so much more goes on than our ego blocking human mind allows. And then when we get out of the way, you can see the magic everywhere. It's cool, very cool.
Shannon, what are your thoughts on the three eye atlas comet and all the comments coming our way?
Oh,
Ew. Three Eye Atlas. Where is that one?
it's the
It's the one,
asteroid.
interstellar. It's from outside of our
Interesting.
galaxy.
I don't know. I've not really been familiar with that one, but I keep hearing that we're going to have another mini moon. Is that the one that's going to turn into the mini moon?
A
Uh,
mini moon.
I'm
I
Yeah,
not
think.
sure
we're
about that.
supposed to get, last year we had that
Mhm.
that comet that went with us for a couple months and they called it sort of like the mini moon. There's another one that's coming that's going to be like another mini moon. This one I've not really heard much about, but I was reading about this other mini moon that's coming. And those kind of fascinate me because they stay with that curve and, stay really with like their orbit.
Yeah.
And that to me is pretty fascinating. Now, I don't know if you guys saw like in San Antonio, there was this whole thing the other day that, there was some sort of like comet that people saw here in San Antonio for a while, and it made like one of our news stations. But I think it's interesting because we've seen a lot of activity. And one of the things, I'm always not to go from woo woo to conspiracy theory, but a lot of times they kind of go together. There was the whole thing not long ago. I can't remember what happened, but it was some major news event. And then, like, later that day, there was this whole thing about NASA, and you can Google it. There's an article. NASA was like, yeah, we discovered what looks like life on Mars or like an older life form on Mars. And it was a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, there's a lot of galactic activity. What have you guys heard?
But
Well,
that three eye atlas is supposed to come closest to Mars. I think it is.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
we're getting the most filtered version of all this too.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
like the common, like by the time it hits the news, it's probably the weakest version of like the real happening. Yeah, so do you want to share your thoughts on that? It's an asteroid, right? The Atlas is
They
an
don't
asteroid.
know. That's the thing. They
Oh,
have
okay.
no idea what it is. It's acting completely different than other comets. And then one thing I was watching, some like astronomers now are seeing like nine other comets surrounding it, and they're like glowing green. But it's like changing all the time. So it's very interesting if you haven't
So glowing
looked into
green,
it.
um when sorry, did I just I'm so sorry. Did I just interrupt? Okay.
Mhm.
So when tektites, which are okay, tektites are either a piece of a comet that hit the earth, or the chemical reaction on the earth that forms from like Libyan glass, when the sand melts from a comet activity and it creates Libyan glass. Okay. So tektites almost always have a green tinge or green to them. And I don't think there's an answer why, but the majority of things that come from space and end up here, no, we know why. It's a high, not zinc. It's a high.
Like
It's
nickel content or something.
well. Sorry, what?
I think it's one of the metals like
Yeah,
nickel or something that causes that reaction. Yeah.
and the reason that we know it's from space is because it wouldn't. Maybe it's hydrogen. It doesn't naturally form in that intensity here on Earth, and so when it comes from space, when it hits our atmosphere, for some reason it turns green. So that's really interesting that the objects that they're seeing floating around this comet are green.
It's kind of, and they're all traveling at a very high rate of speed, which is,
Yeah.
different than other comets and stuff too. So
Yeah.
pretty interesting, and it could all be, a Project Blue Beam or whatever too. Who knows? But there are a lot of, I don't watch the regular news. I outsource to normal people that are out there getting their own, information. So it's just interesting to just
Well, it is.
perspective is, and some people say it's the galactic frequencies from another galaxy. I can't remember which one it was, but they're holding codes that is obviously going to create a shift in humanity to some degree with the frequencies of it and whatever knowledge and wisdom it has to carry, from another interstellar place.
Well, and me, myself, and I commented that moldavite's green too. And moldavite is very, interesting to me. And some people have a very strong visceral reaction to it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I wear a ton of it. Yeah.
And Kimberly's met my sister-in-law Miranda. Miranda, we went into a store in Bernie, the little town I live in, and the lady had moldavite in the case. And she put it in Miranda's hand, and Miranda burst into tears. And, it just has that profound effect on a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
moldavite.
yeah. And it's interesting because I was thinking of Moldavite, and then she put it in the comments too. And Annie
Yeah.
is on, and she's a crystal person. So, Annie, do you have any Moldavite? Have you had a Moldavite experience? If you want to type it in. But yeah, it's fascinating. And there are some people who can't wear it or can't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so intense for them.
It's because it
Yeah.
makes you it's an ascended. Okay, so it must just be the vibration contained within it, right? But moldavite helps you get to matters quickly.
Yes.
Yes, and so only once have I taken it off when I was feeling really intense about something. I can't remember what it was. I was dealing with something that was beyond my control, and it was causing a lot of anxiety, and I was like, take your rings off. It was the only one time did I ever do that. Um Dude, I'm a collector of tektites, man. I have a Hawaiian glass, I have Libyan glass, I have tektites of all different from different locations. I have oh there's a really cool one in Brazil. There's an asteroid um location in Brazil that I have a piece from there. I have a lot of shungite and I have a lot of moldavite. But you're you're attracted to certain things. Like my
Mhm.
intention is to stay as self-aware as possible, and I also help others get out of their own way. And so I'm sure that's why I'm attracted to things that help just bust doors down emotionally.
Oh, yeah. And you have a lot of people who are afraid of it because they're like, oh my gosh, it brings about change, even if you
Mhm.
don't want it. Well, you may not want it, but in my experience, it's, what you need. And Annie just commented she has one,
Yeah.
but she has it put away because she's not sure she's ready for it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's powerful stone.
I
Yeah.
wore mine for years, and then only in the last like 3 or 6 months I haven't been wearing any jewelry at all. And every once in a while, I'll think about it. I'm like, that's so weird. How do you go from wearing necklaces and rings and all this stuff? I do carry some stones with me, but I realize that I'm supposed to be doing something without any assisted energies right now. And so sometimes putting it in a drawer helps. I'm sorry, were you going to say something, Amber?
Oh no, I do have a Moldavite singing bowl. I have yet to figure out how to get you guys to hear it on Zoom, but yeah,
Yeah.
I have a practitioner crystal bowl and it's sprayed with Moldavite in it as well. But yeah, they say you have to work your way up to working with it, Annie, just for a few minutes at a time, and then eventually you'll attune yourself to its frequency, and then you can wear it. But a lot of people have to do it just few minutes here, a few minutes there, and
Not funny. No, I mean funny, not funny. But that like a stone can be that powerful. But I think believe that, and a lot of other people believe that crystals hold codes and wisdom and ancient wisdom and memory. And so when you are ready, when the students ready, the teacher will enter.
yeah,
Yeah.
just ask the tech industry.
Yeah. Well, everything we do has quartz crystal in it, from watches to phones to
Yeah, that's what
computers.
I was, and that's where the technology came from, is the crystals themselves. You know, you can see it on, if you look at like a Lemurian quartz crystal. I was looking at it earlier today in the sun, and it's exactly like a computer chip. You know, it's like that's exactly where they got the technology, and yeah, so
Mine are
My
all
Lemurian quartz is across the room in my purse.
yeah.
Like you held yours up and yeah.
Hmm.
oh, you live in Texas. Have you been to Arkansas, to the Arkansas crystal mines?
Yes, well, I've not been to the mines, but I've been to Arkansas and used to work in Arkansas. And we actually, lady I work with, we went to several rock shops there and like looked at their stuff and bought some stuff. And yeah,
You gotta go dig up your own crystals. There's Lemurian quartz all over, and it's amazing, and it's just so
oh,
fun. And
cool.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
little, and you just pay like 25 bucks or something, and you can sit with the bucket like for all day or some of those. So yeah, I recommend it. I went and visited my mom, and we went and did that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And the Lemurian quartz, last week I had talked about we put one actually in my mother's cremated remains.
Hmm.
Like we put one in there
That's
with
cool.
her, and I have one, my sister has one, and that's sort of a thing for us. And then my stone that always comes up is labradorite. So do you guys have a stone that just like comes up all the time for you guys?
Definitely, labradorite is definitely one of them for sure, and then the moldavite. Um, yeah, I play with all kinds of crystals.
I yeah, same. And Annie too. And she is really like she got me into this live not long ago, with a lady, and I bought, continued my crystal addiction. But a couple of years ago, I guess it was maybe like 4 years ago, it was at Christmas. My husband bought me a labradorite ring, and I bought him labradorite cufflinks, and neither one of us had talked about it. I hadn't indicated I liked it. He never owned a pair of cufflinks in his life. And so like we bought them totally separately. It wasn't anything that I had ever seen and said, oh, I like this or I don't like that. And we both bought each other Labradorite for Christmas. So it's like one that just comes up very often.
I have a crazy
Fun.
story about it. Labradorite. Jay and I went to El Salvador, and when we were coming, we took some labradorite pieces with us, and mine was like a palm stone, just like the size of my palm, and it just kind of round like a river rock, basically. And then Jay had this huge piece like this big, and he has this petrified wood, like that's millions of year old petrified. So it's like a wand basically. And we have this huge crystal case, and we've got all these crystals in it. And we're coming back through El Salvador, and we went through different security check lines, and we both got stopped, and they both places that stopped us. So, the security, obviously, they tried to take our labradorite. That was it. If
Wow.
they didn't care about anything else, they wanted that stone and they were like, no, you can't have this. You're not allowed. And I'm like, yes, I'm taking that with me because I came in with it and I'm leaving with it.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then Jay's getting harassed over here by this security person and they're trying to take the labradorite
Huh.
also. So it was very interesting that that had happened. And they were specifically after that.
That's what, yeah.
Because
I
that's like our protection and our magic
yeah.
zone, you know. And
Mm.
so,
Yep.
and yeah, it was really interesting.
What is it when you're at the airport and you have to go through security with the TSA? So I thought I had everything prepared for the stupid I get really irritated when people get in your face and really
I do
aggressive
too.
over nothing. Okay. So we get through and they stop me and they were like, "What's in your pocket?" And I didn't even think about it. I had a few crystals in my pocket and in like a little sack. So I took them out and I'm thinking like I am the thousandth person who has crystal. Like, come on, you know. So I took them out and I had just gone through that whole body scanner and the guy was such a dick about it, like as if I was smuggling fucking heroin. Sorry, as if I was smuggling heroin. And the girl that was in front of me was super cool, and she was like as soon as he walked away, she looked at like I had to open the little bag and show her. She's like, "Oh, those are so cool," whatever. And she's like, "I'm really sorry about that." And she said, "Our scanner doesn't know what those are." She said it came up as like it couldn't detect what was in your pocket, like as if it was this foreign matter or something. Like, really? Because I would say if 100 people are standing in front of me, probably 30 to 50 of them have a crystal on them in their pocket or they're wearing it. Or, like a lot of people have crystals. I thought that was really interesting. But it
Yeah,
is,
it is.
I had the big guns though. It was like Tektites and things. It was from outer space. So I hope I screwed up your equipment because,
I hope
oh
you
God,
screwed up their equipment too.
yeah. Shungite comes up with me a lot. This is a really cool dragon on a Shungite point that I have. This is my last purchase. I keep shungite in our water. I have like water glass dispensers on the counter, and then I refill it with reverse osmosis water on a regular basis. And there are quartz crystals and shungite in there, because shungite is a natural detox, like known by science.
Yeah.
It grows. It was formed in Russia. I think all of it comes from Russia, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. So I always have that in all our waters.
Cool.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, okay. We have a bunch of comments here. Okay. Um oh, go. Okay, so Ali said I love animals too. My absolute favorite are domesticated horses. And I say that because we can talk without words. Yes. Yes,
Love
very sweet.
horses too.
Yes. Um okay. And Annie loves all crystals. She doesn't want to have to pick one. Different crystals call to Ali at different times. So right now it's clear quartz. I always go back. I always just go back to clear quartz.
Clear
Um,
quarters.
yeah,
That's been my thing today too.
Jason. Oh, that was a customs amber.
Security, customs,
Security.
the
Yeah.
fake government,
Yes.
it's all what it is.
Yes. And let's see. Oh, you want to see my big shungite energy crystal, Jason? Yeah, this is a dragon
Love that.
on a yeah, this is really cool. So Amber and I met in a very synchronistic way. Did I share that in our last live last week? How we met?
And I don't know.
Okay. Um, I don't think I did. So, oh, I know. I was talking to you, Shannon. I told you how I met Amber. Okay, so we have friends that form Team Light, and they're in Sedona, Shauna and Rion. And I have a wedding company here, a wedding cake company here, and I saw that our delivery was going to this location that we hadn't been to in a while, and I happened to know that there was a crystal fair, like a metaphysical fair going on at the same location. So when we were deciding who was going to take what cakes, I was like, well, I'll take that one because then I'll just, hop next door to the metaphysical fair. So Rion had he usually goes on every week and does like a morning coffee live, and I had put on the replay and I'm listening to it in my earbuds, and I walk into the metaphysical fair, and I literally walked through the door, and the third table down was Amber, who I didn't know yet, but I saw her sweatshirt had Team Light on it, and I was like, "You have got to be kidding me!" Like, we don't Team Light's known, like, they're people are part of this co- collective beautiful energy, everywhere, but I don't see it. Like, I don't see the t-shirts. Like, I wear the hat every day, but I don't see it around San Diego. So I walked up to her table, and you were talking to some customers, and I'm tripping because I'm looking at Rion on my phone because I'm listening to the replay, and you're wearing a Team Light sweatshirt. So um I laughed to myself, and I remember you and the two customers stopped and looked at me, and I said, I'm so sorry, and I said, this will all make sense in a minute, but I didn't want to interrupt. So they walked away, and I just turned my phone towards you and showed you Rion, and we were like, what? And then we immediately like introduced ourselves, whatever, and then we took a picture for Shauna and sent it to her. But that's how Amber and I met. I went to that same metaphysical fair last year. They've moved locations, and that's where I got this. But it just made me think of how you and I met. So even though you're in Maui and I'm here, we have met in person one time, and it was super synchronistic. It was very cool. Yeah. Let's see. Did we miss anything else here? Um, yeah, Jason, maybe I'll bring it to Hawaii and let you hold it. Yeah, it's one of my favorite pieces, and it's like I would say that's the last crystal I bought. That was a few months ago. Um, yeah, no, it's cool. I don't always. I don't know. When you walk into a gem show or you walk into a crystal store, I think some people have a plan, but a lot of people just kind of allow themselves to be guided. The only thing I can't purchase, ironically, because I have other copper, are when I pick up copper pieces, they jump out of my hands, and I thought that was so weird. And I tried it a few times at this one store. I've even tried it going back there and picking them up, and it's almost like I don't know if I'm having this weird reflex where I pop them out or they just jump out of my hands. Yeah, because I have copper. Like, I'm not allergic.
That's wild.
Yeah, I have the same experience some people have with moldavite. But okay, well, it did. We're at like the hour and a half mark, so we should probably wind it down. But did one more chance for anybody in the chat to ask a question that we can answer through clairvoyance or intuition? Anyone
Yes,
with it?
Annie, love those rainbows and those clear quartz.
Yeah.
Pure magic.
Yes. Um, I have a plan. When I move, I have these three different size vases. They're just clear columns, and I want to fill them up with rocks, like all quartz in one, all amethyst in one, and put them somewhere so that the light will shine through. I think that'll look really cool.
That will be cool.
Yeah. You have a question about your grandma, Jason? You want me to channel a message from her? I've shared some I've shared some pretty good messages from your grandma. Um, the trippiest one is when I went to message you on Instagram, Amber, and just ask you what time we should meet later on a Zoom. And I ended up giving you like four recorded messages because Jason's grandma came through, and I was like, I got a message. I told, and then you woke up and messaged me. When I woke up this morning, I knew that you were going to be sending me information about Jason's grandma. Um,
And she was a bird lady too, right? I think you told me about that. Didn't she have a bird connection?
yeah, well, yes. Do you, I channeled that she was showing me a symbol of a bird, and I didn't, it was out of context, so I really didn't know what she was telling me. I told you some other stuff, and then I saw this, like, almost as if there was a dark screen in the air and there was a symbol of a bird on it. And then Amber, you told me that. I'll let you tell it.
What color is the lizard, Jason? Is it green? Like a blue green?
Oh,
it's green and blue. It's a sun. It's like a day gecko. It's a green day gecko with like pink and blue and
Yeah, I knew it was a blue green, and I didn't know if it was a day gecko, but I kept feeling the gecko part. Now, and I have to preface this with how many geckos do we have at home, babe? We don't
oh
even.
yeah.
We have so many, we don't even know. None are day geckos. We have 20 or 30. We don't have any blue or green geckos. We have blue and green monitors. John used to breed day geckos, but when you said that, I'm like, okay, that's what it is. But yeah, that's definitely a thing. And so are you near like a special holiday for her? Like, is this time of year like near a special thing for her? Like an anniversary, birthday, some sort of timed event in October?
not that we know of.
The full moon is going to be in Aries in October, and
Well,
we passed.
She did go on an eclipse energy, I think. So maybe this eclipse energy.
Oh yeah, she did.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
in
But
April.
like, that's why I wonder if there's something close to it. And then, like, with the lizard that you've been seeing a lot, did she have a particularly, like, she had an affinity for all sorts of nature. Did she have anything particular for lizards? Like, did she leave, some people shoo them away or whatever, but your grandmother was really into all animals. And where is she from originally? Like what location?
She's from Japan.
Okay. That's interesting. I have a Japanese aunt who she lived in Seattle. She was married to my uncle, my grandmother's brother, and she lived in Seattle. And then she moved to Hawaii because she had more Japanese family there than she did in Japan at the time that she was older.
Wow.
So that's
Yeah.
very cool. But did she leave a door open or set things out for animals? Like, do you know that?
I
Amber,
don't,
what
not that I know of it. She yeah, I don't know. She kind of was very, to herself mostly and didn't, I don't, Jay might know when he was a kid. Do you remember Jay? Um,
what did I
I
tell
keep
you about a
seeing her
lizard?
like feeding something outside. And I don't know what that is or whatever, but like I don't know if she just set food out or set water
baby birds,
out. It
maybe.
could be something to that effect, but she's like outside and then there's like the whole thing with the lizard, the great things about lizards are change. Are you guys doing anything different?
Oh, always every day.
Always
A
every day?
major change. What did I tell you about a lizard?
Okay, she
Why did
put
he
out
bring it
lettuce for her tortoises in the backyard. Oh, we have tortoises too. I would have loved your grandmother.
up? Well,
Very
what did
good.
I tell you guys about a lizard like a month ago? What did I ask you? Or did I tell you I just saw like a lizard was coming to visit you or something?
You said that there is a lizard in the house or nearby and it was her. And then I was like, she was like in my room on the floor, like in
Yeah.
the
They
bathroom a lot, and then
they
in the
started sending
kitchen
me
every time I
pictures
would go. Yeah, and
of
then it was like, oh yeah, there she is. She's right here. She's
That makes sense. If she was putting out lettuce and she had a tortoise, because that's what I keep seeing her
yeah.
put food outside. That's interesting. Have you guys ever had reptiles? Like, have you ever kept any sort of reptile? Like,
Jay had a bearded dragon.
okay. Did she ever meet your bearded dragon?
I think she probably did. Let's see.
Cool. And I mean, that's true. Everything is about constant change. But lizards usually, like for me, outside lizards, and also when the seasons change. Like today when we were, well, yesterday, when we were leaving, there was this big giant Texas spiny lizard that like ran up the tree, like as we were going to the car. But yeah, it doesn't seem like it's anything bad, but there's something about this time of year. And I don't know what that is. And that's what I'm wondering if there's a little bit more related to a holiday, a family event. Maybe you could just ask around and see if anybody knows anything that may correlate particularly to this time of year. I don't know if
You're
that's
saying in October or something, maybe?
very, very early in October, like late September, early October. Like what would that be? And
She's trying to point something out that's going to
yeah,
happen at that time. I think I know what it is. I can't
oh,
say it.
okay, but yeah, there's a time thing. At
Yeah.
least I'm getting.
Yeah. What does she say about it?
Well, she seems very excited about it.
Okay. Okay.
Something about a pearl, and I don't know if it's like it's not like a
Well, as in growth, something growing.
yeah, like a not a polished pearl, but a wild like when the is it oyster?
Like the freshwater,
Yeah,
like ones that are.
maybe she had them, but yeah,
Oh,
she's
that's cool.
showing me the I guess yeah where they're like elongated pearls. I'm like a
Hmm.
natural pearl. That's what I'm seeing. When you said the beginning of October, I immediately saw that.
A pearl. Interesting. Okay.
Okay. Um, Kara.
Oh, that's Jason's mom.
Oh,
Aloha, Kara! Yay!
that's it. So Kara says she was my mother, and I used to catch losers and sell them to boys at school.
I
That's
love that.
hilarious.
That's funny.
Interesting. So then the lizard comes to grandma. Wow.
Yeah.
She loved pearls. Oh, there you go.
Okay. Because I kept it. Okay, so how does that? Maybe she was just showing, telling me that she loved pearls, because that's what I was seeing, like a natural, like I'm seeing not the beach, more like a resort. But then I saw like the half shell and a natural pearl, um, freshwater pearl. But it came up when you said something's coming in the beginning of October.
It could be the comment too. So there's that.
No, that's true.
That's kind.
Maybe.
There's something. There's some kind of big event coming. At like energetically, I know you guys probably can feel it, but something's about to go down. And it's either has to do with the astrology, or I mean, it always has to do with the astrology. But what exactly does that mean for us?
Well, we're heading into the torrid meteor.
Uh,
Or no, or we already in? Yeah, that's good. The meteor
Oh, she
showers.
said October was her favorite time of year in Japan. There you go. That was
Oh, okay,
maybe what she's.
okay.
yeah,
And Jason said it there was a festival which is this week in Little Tokyo in LA, and she used to take me there all the time.
Uh,
And the festival was just in August and cherry blossom season. Oh, yeah.
very cool.
Cherry blossom season. I think's in April though. But yeah, I guess her favorite time. How funny. Gotta have mom here to answer the mom questions.
Yes. Do you Okay, well, since she's coming through strong for me and Shannon. So do you all have any other questions?
Mom got any questions for grandma? Grandma son?
She's
She
wearing a
comes she comes through Cardinals a lot. That
yeah,
was
Oh, cool.
immediately she came through as a Cardinal. As soon as she passed,
right.
she came through as a Cardinal.
But you had planned that with her that you said she said she was going to show you her, or you were going to look for a bird. There was something. And I didn't know that. And my when I channeled a message, she was showing me a bird, and I didn't get it was completely out of context. So all I could tell you is that I see the outline of a bird, a symbol.
Shannon, are you picking up any energy or anything from her?
Yeah, I mean, for me, she's just very focused on October and something new happening.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe if you're starting something new, what I'm getting is October is like the perfect time to start. Is
Yeah.
it familial? Like, is it, I mean, I don't want to, but like if it's familial, then like she's definitely going to have her stamp on it.
Yeah. And she's excited about it.
Yes.
Yeah, my energetically, my head keeps turning to the right, which is like the future, not the past. Um, yeah, she's like, I always see her standing on the edge of like where the sand meets the water, and there's this small island behind her, and it's like this is usually how I see her communicate to me. There's maybe 100 feet of beach, and then there's a really thick forest behind her, like jungle forest that you would see on an island. And then I can tell that there's a mountain. So almost the entire island that she's on is a mountain because quickly it just shoots up right behind her. So I'm seeing her wearing a flat black, I guess like a kimono, but it's just like this long black robe, and it has these gray panel, just a simple gray stripe down the front of her panel. And I just saw her fanning something, and I could tell that smoke was coming. So like she's fanning something into existence, maybe.
That's, I mean, it for me, I just get a lot of like change and she's happy about it in October. And then also something about June. And I don't know. I don't know what June has to do with anything. And I don't know why she's so focused on dates.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Um, so Kara, you're wondering if she's happy with your dad. Yes, because when you pass on, you go back to your original soul state, and they're part of the same, as you all are, part of the same soul tribe. So when you cross over, your core personality stays intact because that's who you are, and all of the emotion evoking issues just leave because there is no anger, resentment, pain,
Hmm.
guilt, shame, all that's gone. And so she's ecstatic being with him and other people in that tribe because you're now interacting still with that person that you love in your original like soul state where it's just unconditional.
No baggage.
Yeah. Oh, Japan and wore black and gray. Okay. That would be Japan and wore black and gray. Hey, Sydney, is it possible to connect with a grandmother who I've never met in real life? Oh, absolutely. Yes. Um, yeah, because you could call anybody in, even if even if a soul has come back or is on a different timeline, like there's always aspects of a soul who you can connect with. I mean, that's why we connect with certain people here. And then when they pass on or we pass on, there's still a connection because time doesn't exist. Um,
Yeah, I mean, my own great grandmother who was, or great great grandmother who was dead before I was born, she was one of the first people that I had this like little cold, ice cold place. And I remember saying, I think this is my great great grandmother who was dead before I was even born. So you can. And like for me, people come through, it's kind of like charades. She put out a few things and I sort of have to like figure out who you are before you can come in further. But is it a grandmother that, so you never met her in this life,
Sydney, do you have anything that
but do you
spoke?
know about her? Like anything to connect to her with? Because sometimes that makes it easier.
I'm getting silver, and I don't know if it's jewelry or actual like silver antique objects, but I think you might have something of hers that's silver or something that's important to you that's silver that you found out was hers. That seems pretty vague. I mean, a lot of people have silver in their family, but that at first she was showing me like a chain, almost like a jewelry, like a link chain. I knew it was your dad. I should have said that.
I know,
Okay.
me too.
I was like, it's on her dad's side, but I didn't. Yeah, okay. Paternal from Italy. Okay, Jason. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate All of you, thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Amber.
Yeah, say hello to your grandmother. Maybe put out some outside food. See if anybody
For the
shows
kids.
up.
Yeah. Well, she's
Yeah.
been hanging around as the lizard. Okay. This is funny, Sydney, and I don't know how much you know about her, but did she drive? Because back then a lot of women didn't drive, but she's showing me a car. It looks like a really simplistic box car, almost like with the windshield that you could push down and stand up. And it's like she wanted me to know that she was independent, and I think she learned how to drive when a lot of women weren't driving. Lucrece.
Akiko.
Kiko-san. Okay, so Annie wants to know. So while you're typing, Sid, Annie wants to know, is there a way to reach out to a loved one and ask them to visit?
I know it sounds kind of trite, but you can just ask them.
They're
Like,
right there with you.
yeah, and you can say it out loud. I mean, one of the things that I struggle with, and I know you don't have to say things out loud, but for me, I don't know, it just makes it so much easier. Like if I say it out loud and it makes it happen faster and it's so much better.
Yeah, and just stay open and out of your own mind. And going into nature is always a good place to do that, and just try and connect with them. Um, and just know that they're always there with you, and there is no separation. We just think there is, but there's really not. And they are all here. All of our ancestors are here with us, helping us in these times that we're in, and they're all here to support us. And it's important to call upon them because they're just waiting here, ask, for us to ask for their assistance. So just remember that.
And use your stones. I mean, you've got them. Use your stones. Use a labradorite, use an amethyst, whatever heightens you, like whatever makes you feel like you're expanding. I don't know how else to explain that. I'm sure there's like a technical term for it, but like, you know how sometimes you hold a crystal and you just feel like you're expanding beyond yourself? I'm sure there's a fancy word, but like, I find that very helpful.
Get it, hold a crystal in one hand and a picture of them, or a piece of their
Yeah,
energy in another hand, and connect that way too.
it's where you place your energy. Yeah. Annie, what I would say is why do you want to connect with this particular person? So it always like we can always go deeper. So ask yourself a few more questions. I miss so and so. Okay, why do you miss them? They remind me of this. Okay, so what do they remind you of? I felt safe at that time. Okay, you felt safe at that time. Was there a moment that you want to get back? And like take yourself through the process of why you want to connect with this person. And each time you do it and you go into a deeper layer, your attention is really manifesting and it's getting stronger and stronger. You're going to get to the root of why you want to connect with that person again. And then in the process, it's where you place your attention. So you're going to draw them nearer. And I think, I think the first connection you're going to have with them is in a dream, where you can just be yourselves and you can have an open dialogue too. And then this is going to feel redundant because I was just going to tell Sydney something, but you have photo albums that are old school. Like you open it and then the I don't know how you say it. Okay, so you open the photo album, but then the inserts actually open again. So each sleeve actually opens up as well. Look for those. That's not what I was going to tell Sid. I was going to tell Sydney something else. So does that make sense, y'all? Like those are vintage photo albums. They're skinny, but then you open them and that sleeve inside actually unfolds again and you could put more pictures in it and you fold it back to close it. Look in there for the person that you want to connect with. Sydney, I keep seeing a sepia photograph of this. I keep seeing this scene in sepia, so I think there's a photograph of your grandmother standing next to this car, that maybe with some mild searching and just following your intuition and your instinct, you'll be able to find it. Um, and I think the reason there's a picture of it, it was like a really proud moment for her, and she wanted to, and it really has a lot to do with her independence. So maybe by connecting to a few other people on that, on your dad's side, if there's anybody left to talk to, ask them some questions about her, and I bet a lot of the answers are going to come out that she was very self-sufficient, she was independent, she was an original thinker. um, she encouraged other women to be strong, and that was especially important back then when most women just kind of didn't have a voice. But
Do
I
you have her ship's log where she sailed over? Like, have you seen that, Sydney? And then Annie, I keep getting the word pajamas. I have no idea what it means, but I keep getting the word pajamas. Something to do with your mom in pajamas. Do you have maybe a picture of her and like you're in your pajamas, she's in her pajamas? But I keep getting the word pajamas and I don't know why. And that ship's log, Sydney, were there more people than her that just came over? Like, did other family members come over? Did they sail out of Naples?
well, they probably, I'm sure they landed in Ellis Island. It's Sydney, it's interesting that you're bringing this up right now too, because I just remembered that, like, yeah, last night, somewhere in the last 24 hours, I was thinking how I never really got to know my grandmother on my dad's side. So I met her, but she died when I was really young. And the only thing I had were the stories. And I was thinking, gosh, I wish I would have asked my dad more, because he loved to tell me stories about his family and growing up. But like all I have are those funny antidotes. It hit me that I've never stopped to think, what was it like to be her? What was her life like? Like what was it like when she was young? I mean, I know some things, but it's passed down. And um that's a really, like, I think you're asking because I'm supposed to be kind of going down this pathway too and connect with her. And I've never thought of, I don't know about you, Shannon and Amber, but without the gifts that we have, there are some things that I've never thought to do. Like, I don't try to bring through, I just kind of let it come through.
Yeah,
Whoever is asking me
same.
questions, I let it come through. I don't specifically say, I wish I'm bringing you forward or whatever, but I was having that thought really strong about my grandmother. Like, what was it like to feel like like your childhood? I mean, yeah, interesting.
If you think about it on another level too, like energetically, it's like they are us, we are them. So we're actually they're living it through us right now.
Mhm.
And so she is, part of the Sydney deeply, and they've probably had a lot of, I'm sure, past lives together. And
Mhm.
but that divine mother, grandmother energy is right now coming up a lot, and I'm sure that's why you're feeling that. And just be open to hearing what she has to say, because she's right here with you, and she's definitely wants to connect. So
So did she sail out of Naples? You have two yeses, Sydney. And so you have the ship's log and she sailed out of Naples. Have you ever connected with any of the other families who may have come through with relatives that were with her? I keep getting the name Elizabetta.
Thank you, and yes.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I got Naples, which is interesting because, there's a gajillion ports in Italy. And she was very specifically like, I sailed out of Naples. And maybe you could look at that ship's log again and look at other family members and see if you can trace them down, like in this life, to get more information. Maybe pictures. Maybe that's how you get the photo.
Okay, so Yeah, that Elizabetha, look that up. Um, Years ago, someone created. Okay, so my last name's Gafter, which is a really unusual name. It's not common at all. And someone created a Gafter group on Facebook and then reached out to all of us, and most of them are in Mexico because even though my family's from Russia, my great 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 grandfather left and settled in deep in Mexico and then start and had a lot of children, and so it I would I would never have guessed that, right? So not only am I in this group, distant relatives of mine who I haven't even met, but I know are in my family line, and they contacted me over the years. They're in this group too, and on occasion, people will share information. So maybe there's a I won't say your last name, but maybe there's a D group on Facebook.
Oh, that's a good idea too.
Yeah,
Because, like, another thing I'm super interested in, weirdly, is genealogy.
yeah. So start putting in
Back
last
to our
names.
roots. Back to the roots.
Yep.
Yeah,
But yeah, and then Annie, look at old Christmas photos. See if you can get an old Christmas photo from when you were little and maybe everybody was still in their pajamas. And I think that's what you should have because I kept getting pajamas, photos with pajamas, and it just hit me that maybe it's like a Christmas morning thing. Maybe it's like a holiday photo because
I'm
sometimes you're up, everybody's in their pajamas.
I'm getting Tigger like from Winnie the Pooh,
Oh, I like that.
so maybe that might help.
Annie has bouncy Tigger energy. Just
Oh.
and she does.
Yes.
She's like a fun, hey, hey, like,
Yeah. We should do group lives or like Zoom group Zooms where um a group of people can get together and just ask us questions and then we answer. It's great to do it live, but like that way we could be more personal.
oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yes, look for pictures because there's something there with the pajamas, something you'll notice that may be a way to do it that makes it come through easier. Now, was she a Christmas person, Annie? Like, was that her holiday? Because I'm a Christmas, my sister's a Halloween.
I can smell eggnog, like the nutmeg and eggnog, so maybe she was nutmeg
Yeah,
or maybe
it's
cinnamon.
very Christmas oriented, but it started with the pajamas.
That's funny. My son called me today when I left for like 30 minutes and he called me and said, I thought he said I want Halloween pajamas and I was like, okay, you have Halloween pajamas, but he was telling me that he put on Halloween pajamas and it's funny that pajamas are coming up. Okay.
No, no Christmas. What was her thing? Because maybe whatever holiday that is. But I'm telling you, I keep getting this whole. Do you have like family photos from the holidays though? Was she at Thanksgiving or was she now we do a weird thing at Thanksgiving where I give everybody Christmas pajamas.
Well, did you all gather in your pajamas in the kitchen for like hot cocoa or something? Because I keep getting that there was an incident when somebody spilled either eggnog or something that had like cinnamon and nutmeg and stuff
Holiday nutmeg.
on their pajamas. Like that might be a memory that'll come up that'll help you connect.
Yeah, check the pictures and see what you can find. Do you have access to her pictures, like your family pictures? Because I know some people don't. All of my family pictures Zach has, because honestly, I shouldn't be trusted with them. My sister has the other ones.
Funny. Is everybody doing okay? It's been 2 hours. Are you all okay? Okay, I'm good. Um,
The little card pull, if you want me to just do a quick little energetic
sure,
card
absolutely.
pull. So the first card is the new time, positive self-talk, advancement, opportunity, and leadership. Time for the divine feminine to rise.
Strong, powerful.
And then we have card 31, planetary cycles, closing cycles, completion, moving forward. So there is a lot of astrology and completions, endings, and new beginnings. So that lines up perfectly.
That's what an eclipse is all about.
And then number 5, Kimberly's number, mission possible. You're going to succeed in everything that you do. Remember that, everybody.
I'll take it.
Kind of blurry. There we go.
That's pretty.
And then the last one is card 20, peace. Slow down, recharge, and take a break.
I hope that wasn't super loud. Sorry. Take a break, huh? Yeah, I made myself do that yesterday. Yeah, kind of today. Huh.
Remember self-care, guys. It's the most important thing. Take care of yourself so that you can hold space for others.
Yes. Logan said, keep it rolling. I'll answer questions. If you guys give me questions, I'll answer them. I think Shannon and I are like synced up right now. Um,
Oh,
Sydney said, "Get this. My grandmother must have been so strong. It was 1921 in January, when which I'm assuming she landed in Ellis Island, and I'm from upstate New York, so it was cold AF. When they crossed the Atlantic, and she was 5 months pregnant, and then sadly lost a child on the trip.
Wow.
Oh,
it's hard to imagine that that wasn't that long ago. You're talking like 104 years ago. And think about how far we've come. Like, it's stunningly amazing how tough people were.
they were tougher than we are now. Like we're just remembering how to stand up for ourselves and be powerful and not apologize for being ourselves, not apologize for taking up space. Um, Remembering who we are, using our multidimensionality, doing this. Yeah, but our like there have been so many moments on in my lifetime leading up to who I am now. So like when I was still working through things, when I would just stop and say, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, and like have a real helpless moment. Imagine what it was like 100 years ago in that helpless moment, knowing that there was no instant gratification in anything. There was no replacement object. There was no like we are so dismissive in our lives now. Like, oh, it breaks. Like, it was expensive, but I can get another one. No, there was none of that. Like you had to use what was in front of you. You had to figure it out. You had to fix it. And yeah, yeah, there every decision our ancestors made allowed us to be sitting here right now on the Zoom, and it's easy to forget that.
Yes, it's important to recognize our ancestors and thank them for even all the trauma, actually,
Yeah,
and they went through all their trauma
yeah.
so that we could get here to go through that trauma and then clear that trauma and break those cycles. So, yeah, it's so important to
Breaking
thank
the
them
cycle.
for all that wonderful,
Yeah,
energy they shared with us. And we're super grateful. And we will take that and learn from it and share that with others.
it's up to us to not say, oh well, I do that because that's what they've always done in my family. Breaking that cycle and not ever doing it again. They went through it. If you could stand in front of your grandmother right now and ask her, like, would you repeat this, would you do this again, what was this like, what would you have wanted for me, wanted for yourself, guaranteed all the hardships that they went through, they would definitely say, um, aim for better. Don't settle. Don't do what we've always done. Like we fought like hell to get out of our situations so that you could be free. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Okay. So I guess we should
Welcome.
we'll wrap it up just because it's time. Um, we're gonna do this every Friday. folks show up with your questions. Like write them down during the week and have them ready to go. You can ask us questions if there's a topic that you want us to cover. You can put it in the chat. For some reason, the chat didn't show up from last week. I don't know why, but I went in and clicked things and slid things, whatever. So I'm pretty sure the chat is gonna show up this time. Even if it doesn't, on the replay, there's going to be a place where you can type in things. So if you have topics that you want us to be prepared to discuss or cover or whatever, please just put it in there. I'll see it and I'll share it. This is really fun.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. Thank you, Shannon, for joining us. Thank you, Amber, for
Thank you guys.
being amazing. And I love this. Like I had this felt like something that I was supposed to do. Just a simple like live. Just it felt so right for the first time in a long time to do this. And so I'm the only way it happens is people show up. So and the great conversations. So thank you.
Yes,
And
thank you for showing up and being here with us and sharing your energy with us, and we appreciate you.
yeah, and you can find Amber and I under our names on our Zoom. Shannon, I don't know if and when Shannon's ready to start her own sessions. If anybody wants to get a hold of Shannon, you can reach out to
Hmm.
me on
Feel
Queen of,
free.
yeah, reach out to me on Queen of Swords for Hire on Instagram, email Queen of Swords for Hire at gmail.com, or it just stick to Instagram and email, and I will connect you with Shannon. So, thank you, and I'm already looking forward to the next one.
Have
My
an awesome week, you guys. Thank you
all
so much for being here.
Bye.
all my birds just landed really close to me, and they're all like talking and stuff now. They're like applause, applause. Okay, bye everyone. Thank you.
Aloha.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye bye now. Okay, when I end, I think what's going to happen is when I end it, it's going to end on Zoom as well, ladies. So I will catch up with you very